What's up everybody, welcome back. So in today's video we're gonna get into some more Master League classic battles, basically featuring Garchomp with a really spicy moveset basically consisting of Dragon Tail, Earth Power and Fire Blast. Now the reason I'm running this moveset is obviously Dragon Tail. I'm pretty sure some of you might have tried it out already. Especially with the buff to Dragon Tail in Season 8, it's a really solid move to go in with. And obviously Earth Power is its Community Day move. And the reason I'm running Fire Blast is solely for that Togekiss matchup, right? Because I'm going to be using it alongside Yveltal and Swampert, and overall this team doesn't really have a solid response against the Charmers and especially Togekiss. So Fire Blast is basically to catch a few Togekisses off guard. And of course, I'm going to be using it alongside Yveltal and Swampert, like I mentioned. And it's pretty much the same core I've been using for most of my Master League battles this season. And that's because I don't honestly have too many options as far as Master League is concerned. I'm yet to basically build a Giratina or a Dialga. So I'm pretty much going in with what I have. And overall, this team actually ended up working out really well for me, right? So let's just get straight into these battles. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Garchomp with Yveltal and Swampert in the back. So we have Garchomp against a Mewtwo. This is actually a pretty positive matchup as far as Dragon Tail Garchomp is concerned because we're going to be able to win the Zero Shield, right? So I'm going to let this charge move go through. It's just going to be a Side Strike, which is going to do massive neutral damage. But then again, as you can see, this Dragon Tail damage is really adding up. And if they want to win Switch Advantage, they're going to basically have to shield the Earth Power, right? So I'm just going to go straight for the Earth Power right now. Probably should get the shield from the Mewtwo. And I'm okay losing Switch Advantage as long as I have Shield Advantage, right? Because this team does really well towards endgame, especially with the Shield Advantage, right? Because both Swampert and Yveltal have that one-shot potential against a lot of different Pokemon in the Master League. So I'm going to come in with my Yveltal here and completely farm down this Mewtwo. And at this point, this was a little too soon to be Focus Blast. So I'm just hoping it's just a Side Strike, which is double resisted because of that dark typing. And I'm going to be able to completely farm it down here. And we have a lot of energy right now. So let's see what they decide to come in with. And they actually come in with their Kyogre. So I'm going to build up a little extra energy. And then I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse right now. They still have a shield. So I want to try and bait out a shield with Dark Pulse. And they do let that go through, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. I'm going to go for another Dark Pulse right now. Obviously, I want to take out the Kyogre with my Yveltal because Swampert doesn't really have a great matchup against Kyogre. They do shield up the second Dark Pulse. So at this point, I'm just going to shield this up as well. And then I'm really hoping that I can take out the Yveltal with another Dark Pulse, and hopefully Swampert can deal with whatever is in the back, right? So I'm just going to go for a Dark Pulse as soon as possible here. This is probably going to do enough neutral damage to take out the Kyogre from this range. And yeah, does enough neutral damage. And they have a Dialga in the back and we have a Swampert in the back, and this is GG's right now. We still have a shield as well. And honestly, we don't even need that because I'm going to be able to get to an Earthquake here, and that's going to be super effective against Dialga because of that steel typing and should just pretty much one-shot in there. So that's exactly why Swampert again is, I've said it a number of times before, it's probably the best option as far as Master League is concerned, at least in my opinion. I know it's ranked about 27th or 28th in the Master League Classic rankings on PvPoke, but I certainly believe it's definitely one of the best out there, right? Especially because it's just so cost effective as far as the Stardust and Candies are concerned as compared to some of the other legendaries, and it's just so good, especially when it comes to the closing potential, right? Moving into the second battle here, we have Garchomp against a Dialga. Not a great matchup this because obviously, especially with Dragon Tail, we're only doing neutral damage while we're taking super effective damage from Dragon Breath. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to give up a shield here. I'm going to say if he had Sand Tomb, we could have gotten to it before they were able to get to their charge move. So I'm going to go for the Earth Power right now. And yeah, this is probably going to get the shield from the Dialga anyways, as it does there. And yeah, I'm just going to let them farm me down. At this point, we have lost Switch Advantage. So I'm going to actually come in with my Swampert here. I'm going to wait out the Switch Clock. I'm going to come in with my Swampert. The reason I'm going to come in with my Swampert is because we don't have to really shield Iron Head, right? Because Iron Head is resisted by Swampert because of that water typing. And it's obviously too soon to be a Draco Meteor. It is just an Iron Head, which is great. And then I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon as soon as possible. Obviously, even though it's resisted, it's going to do quite a bit of resisted damage and should come close to taking it out. And they actually shield that, which is surprising, right? And it tells me that they probably have something else in the back which could be really weak to Swampert. So I'm going to go for another Hydro Cannon here. It's going to do enough resisted damage to take it out from this range, as it does there. And then they actually come in with their Ho, immediately going to switch into my Yveltal. Probably could have just stayed in with my Swampert, and they have a Melmetal in the back. That explains it, right? Their whole team is pretty much weak to Swampert. And then they have no more shields right now. I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast here. This is going to one-shot the Melmetal right there, as it does. And then they have a Ho in the back. We still have a shield advantage, so this should be pretty comfortable, right? So I'm going to shield this up. And probably going to be a Brave Bird right now, but they actually bait with Earthquake, which is really good on their part because if they're going for the Brave Bird straight away, then this Dark Pulse would have probably taken them out, right? So I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse right now. I'm going to do quite a bit of neutral damage against Ho-Oh is a pretty solid pick as well. I think it's ranked in the top 15 if I'm not mistaken as far as PvP poke is concerned, but it's a really solid option to go in with, especially with Brave Bird and Earthquake. So I'm going to go for another Dark Pulse here. Doesn't quite take it out, unfortunately, so I'm going to try and farm it down right now. They're able to get to another charge move, and that's the good thing is they can't stack back-to-back Brave Birds, right? And this is going to be a Brave Bird. It's going to one-shot the Yveltal from that range, but because they've been debuffed, a couple of mud shots should be able to take it out there. So pretty close battle there. I mean, obviously, I think it was a good thing that their whole team was kind of weak to Swampert, and even though we lost Switch there, we were able to recover, right? And that's like, that comes down to the closing potential of both Yveltal and Swampert as well. So, especially that one-shot potential against both Melmetal and Dialga, which is probably two of the most common Pokemon that you'll come across anyways. So, moving on to the third battle here, we have a Garchomp into a Metagross. Metagross pretty much has no play against this entire team comp because all three of these Pokemon do really well against it. And yeah, obviously Mudshot, Garchomp is a better matchup against Metagross, but even Dragon Tail, Garchomp is a pretty decent matchup against it. I'm going to not shield this because we can survive the Meteor Mash here. Going to build up to an Earth Power. They switch into their Yveltal. I'm going to switch into my Yveltal as well, right? So at this point, I'm just going to try and go straight for the Focus Blast right now. Charge move coming through. This was just slightly too soon to be Focus Blast. So I'm going to let it go through, hoping it's just a Dark Pulse. It is just a Dark Pulse, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast right now, right? This is going to do massive neutral damage against Yveltal because of that Dark Flying typing and near one-shots it right there. That is like absolutely massive. And again, this is just going to be a Dark Pulse. It was too soon to be Focus Blast again. I'm going to let it go through. It is resisted because of the Dark typing, and I'm going to be able to farm it down as well. And we have a bit of energy advantage, which is also really crucial in this matchup. And they actually come in with their Dialga, and I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast right now. I either want to get the shield or one-shot the Dialga, so let's see what they decide to do here. And they do shield up the Focus Blast, which is okay, because we have an Earth Power loaded on Garchomp, right? And obviously Swampert towards endgame can absolutely sweep. So I'm going to come in with my Garchomp, go straight for the Earth Power, again putting massive shield pressure on this Dialga. Let's see if they want to shield this up. They do shield that, which is fantastic. Going to switch into my Swampert, and this is pretty much GG's right now, right? Because they have a Metagross in the back, and all I need to do is basically land 2 Earthquakes. So I'm going to shield this up. Probably just going to be an Iron Head, which is resisted, but then again, the Dragon Breath damage is really adding up. They do switch into their Metagross. I'm actually going to overfarm in this matchup because again, Bullet Punch is resisted because we're taking much lesser damage from Bullet Punch as compared to Dragon Breath, so I can overfarm as much as possible in this matchup. I'm going to shield up this Meteor Mash as well. Going to build up to basically 1.5 Earthquakes. I'm going to go for this Earthquake here. This is obviously going to be super effective and pretty much one-shot the Metagross here. And then yeah, Dialga in the back, and yeah, I'm going to be able to get to an Earthquake before they can get to an Iron Head, and this is easily going to one-shot the Dialga and take the win for us there. So this is pretty much the classic template as far as sweeping with Swampert is concerned. If you can save at least 1, if not like 2 shields for it towards endgame, it's going to be pretty solid. And especially with this team comp, when you have like something like Garchomp and Yveltal in the front, you're going to be pretty much forcing shields against most of the Pokemon, right? Because like both these Pokemon have really hard-hitting moves, which allows Swampert to basically have a clear path to sweep towards endgame there. So we are 3-0 in this set right now. Let's move into the 4th battle here. We have Garchomp into a Giratina Origin. Really positive matchup, especially with Dragon Tail. Unfortunately, we lag a little bit right now, which is unfortunate. Charge move coming through from the Giratina. Probably just going to be an ominous win, but unfortunately ends up being a Shadow Ball, right? I actually lost track of how much energy they had because of the lag that we had initially. Had quite a bit of lag actually in the initial few sets of battles that I did here. So going to go for the Earth Power right now. They actually let that go through, and we win switch advantage. So they actually come in with their Sylveon, and this is where it gets really tricky, right? This team kind of really struggles against Charmers. I mean, Sylveon's slightly better because it doesn't have that flying subtyping, which makes it even harder to deal with. Especially Togekiss is much harder to deal with, right? But Sylveon, because of that pure fairy typing, is going to take at least neutral damage from the ground moves. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon as soon as possible again here. Don't really want my Yveltal to go up against the Sylveon because Charm is absolutely going to chunk. They do shield up the Hydro Cannon. So at this point, I'm going to try and get to another Hydro Cannon. I'm definitely going to shield this, and hopefully I can land another Hydro Cannon, right? I'm really hoping they let the next Hydro Cannon go through. Moonblast does come through. Unfortunately, we get the attack debuff from Moonblast, right? So this is, again, this is going to obviously lower the damage from Hydro Cannon, but they're probably going to shield this anyways. They do shield that, which is okay. And at this point, I'm actually going to switch in my Yveltal here and try and go for the Dark Pulse as soon as possible. Going to go for the Dark Pulse right now. I'm really hoping this does enough resisted damage to take out the Sylveon from this range. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite take it out, right? So this is really, really bad right now. I'm going to have to completely farm it down. They're going to get to another charge move, which is unfortunate again. I'm going to shield this up, and I'm really hoping I can farm it down, one-shot whatever is in the back. And they actually switch into their Mewtwo. I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse right now. This is really good, right? Dark Pulse is going to be super effective against Mewtwo because of that psychic typing. And nearly one-shots it, but unfortunately doesn't quite one-shot it. And I'm not going to be able to farm it down. So charge move coming through. It's going to be a side strike, even though it's double resisted. It's going to take out the Yveltal from that range. And I'm going to have to go for the Hydro Cannon, right? I can't really farm down the Mewtwo with Mud Shot. I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. And I'm really hoping that one Mud Shot is going to take out the Sylveon here. So Hydro Cannon does take out the Mewtwo, but unfortunately we go down to Charm there, and it's like very, very close battle, honestly. I think obviously getting the attack debuff on Swampert probably flipped that matchup. That if I hadn't got the attack debuff, probably the Mud Shot damage would have been a little bit more, and probably the Dark Pulse would have taken out the Sylveon. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty close battle nevertheless there. So 3-1 in the set right now. Let's move into the final battle of the set. We still haven't landed a Fire Blast yet, but let's see what happens. So we have Garchomp into a Kyogre here. Pretty positive matchup, especially with Dragon Tail, because it's doing so much neutral damage against Kyogre. I'm going to let this go through. Probably just going to be a Surf. Too soon to be a Blizzard. It's just a Surf, does quite a bit of neutral damage because of that Dragon Ground typing. And I'm just going to go straight for the Earth Power right now, right? This is probably going to do enough neutral damage to take out the Kyogre from this range. And as it does that, near one-shots it, but one Dragon Tail should pretty much take it out, which is really good because we won Switch Advantage again. And they actually come in with their Mewtwo, and this is pretty solid right now, right? I can line up my Yveltal against their Mewtwo. So going to come in with my Yveltal here and try and go for the Dark Pulse as soon as possible. And then, yeah, Charge Move coming through. I'm really hoping this is just a Side Strike Shale Bait. I'm not going to shield this. Unfortunately, it ends up being a Focus Blast. That nearly one-shots the Yveltal there. That does so much neutral damage. And I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse right now, and does get the shield from Mewtwo, and they actually come in with their Groudon. Immediately going to switch into my Swampert, and this is actually a Dragon Tail Groudon, right, which is not great for Swampert. So yeah, I'm gonna actually shield this because Dragon Tail is doing quite a bit of neutral damage in this matchup. So I'm gonna shield up the Fire Punch. Unfortunately, it ends up being a Fire Punch shield bait. So I'm gonna go for the Hydro Cannon here, which is super effective against Groudon because of the ground typing, and this does so much damage right there. And then it's gonna go for another Hydro Cannon right here, and then let's see if this gets the shield from the Groudon. It doesn't get the shield. They actually let that go through, which is pretty surprising. So at this point, I'm actually going to come in with my Swampert, try and go for the Hydro Cannon here. Unfortunately, it ends up being a CMP tie, and I'm actually going to risk it and probably shield this because, yeah, I want to make sure shields are down before my Yveltal comes in, right? So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. Let's see if this gets the shield from the Mewtwo. Does get the shield, which is fantastic, and I'm immediately going to switch to my Yveltal here. And because we had like an advantage of like one Snarl, I'm able to get to a Dark Pulse before they can get to a Side Strike, and Dark Pulse is obviously going to take out the Mewtwo from that range there. So extremely close battle, as you can see. I mean, it's a good thing we had a little bit of an energy advantage on Yveltal, or else it would have been pretty difficult, right? Mewtwo is really, really solid as far as Master League is concerned. So anyways, that was a 4-1 set, but I definitely also wanted to showcase an additional battle. There's actually a battle where we lagged a little bit. I forgot to turn on the screen recording from another set of battles. Where I just wanted to showcase like landing a Fire Blast, right? We didn't really land a Fire Blast in that set, so this is another battle where we had like quite a bit of lag actually. As you can see, I mean, this Mewtwo is able to get 2 Side Strikes before I'm able to even get off the first charge move, because obviously there was a lot of lag as far as this battle was concerned. So I'm actually going to switch into my Swampert. We have a 2 shield disadvantage right now, so I'm going to soak up the Side Striker. It's going to do a lot of neutral damage in this matchup. And then just going to try and get to this Hydro Cannon as soon as possible. Luckily, I'm able to get to it just in time. And I'm really hoping this gets one of the shields from them because, again, Yveltal does really well when shields are down towards endgame, right? Charge move coming through. Going to be another Side Strike. It's going to take out Swampert here. And then, yeah, I'm going to wait out the switch clock and come in with my Yveltal and try and farm it down. So let's see what happens here. So just going to come in with my Yveltal here and then just going to completely farm it down right now. And they actually make a switch into their Melmetal, and I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast here. I either want to one-shot the Melmetal or get their final shield. Let's see what they decide to do here. They do shield that up, which is okay. And at this point, I'm going to let this go through. I was actually trying to catch a Rock Slide on Garchomp. Wasn't able to do it, unfortunately, but we do soak up the Rock Slide. And I'm just going to go straight for the Fire Blaster. Honestly, I could have landed the Earth Power and tried to farm it down, but I really wanted to land a Fire Blast, right? So it's going to go for the Fire Blast. One-shots the Melmetal there, which is fantastic. And yeah, Charge Bomb coming through from Mewtwo, unfortunately. Going to be a Side Strike, which is going to do massive neutral damage once again. And I'm hoping I can completely farm it down here. And let's see what they have in the back. And they have a Groudon in the back, and yeah, this is really unfortunate right now. I'm really trying to get to an Earth Power here, and we're not able to get it. And then, yeah, my Yveltal is pretty much in a couple of Fire Punches range, right? Probably my only win condition here is to hopefully get to a Focus Blast, but unfortunately this Groudon has a little bit too much of an energy advantage, and we're going to go down to another Fire Punch there. I mean, ideally my win condition there would have been probably to overfarm in the Garchomp Melmetal matchup and probably land an Earth Power and then take it from there, but I just really wanted to land a Fire Blast to see how it is, right? Probably just for the feel of it, but anyways, there was a little bit of lag there as well, which is pretty unfortunate. But anyways, as you can see, it's a pretty solid moveset. I mean, obviously, Fire Blast is probably not needed. It's still going to lose to Togekiss anyways. I mean, as far as this team comp is concerned, because overall this team really struggles against Charmers and Togekiss in particular, it was what tempted me to use Fire Blast. But typically, I think either Dragon Tail, Earth Power, Sand Tomb, or your typical moveset of Mud Shot, Outrage, Earth Power should be pretty good for it, right? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll be trying to probably bring out a few more spice picks as far as Master League is concerned. hopefully over the weekend as well. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.